morning. My name is Rebecca, and I am a recovering addict.
Hey, Rebecca.
Welcome to the GRCNA 40 Lost Dreams Awakening, and to our workshop, Taking Care of Your Body. Since GRCNA 40 is the Georgia region's first hybrid convention, allow me to address the issue of anonymity for those joining us online. When joining a virtual meeting, you will need to keep your video turned off to guarantee your anonymity. If you turn your video on, you are choosing to be seen by the other participants. You can change your name or switch to first name plus last initial to protect your identity. Let's open with a moment of silence followed by the serenity prayer. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Welcome to the Georgia Regional First Hybrid Convention, GRCNA 40, Lost Dreams Awakening. The intention for this convention is to make available to our fellowship and weekend of recovery, celebration, and fun. We hope that all addicts receive the NA message of recovery while they are participating in this event. It is our hope that the message we carry may truly let everyone know that NA is a place to recover and that no addict seeking recovery need die from addiction. These are the workshop participant guidelines. If you are joining us virtually, please dress appropriately on camera. Please keep your microphone on mute unless you are asking to unmute by the host or co-host. If you have a question or need general assistance during the workshop, please contact the host or the co-host via direct message and chat. If there is a time after workshop speakers finish, you may have opportunity to share your experience, strength, and hope on the workshop topic. If you would like to share virtually, please raise your virtual hand. Your virtual hand can be raised by going to the reaction icon on your computer or by going to the More section on your phone. If you would like to share in person, just please raise your hand. The virtual host and co-host and I will attempt to maintain a queue correctly. Your kindness and patience will be greatly appreciated. Please limit your share to 3 to 4 minutes. I asked volunteers for our readings. Doesn't say which one first.
So it's gonna be how it works in just the 12.
Hey, name Tracy. How it works. If you only have to offer no willingness to make them get it, then you're ready to take certain steps. These are principles that made our recovery possible. 1, we admitted we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, we admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, we humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8, we made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, we made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, we continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to addicts and to practice these principles in all our affairs.
Thank you for reading.
Thank you for reading.
Thank you for reading.
12 traditions.
Hi family, I'm Carrie. I'm a grateful recovering addict.
Hey, Carrie.
12 traditions of NA. We keep what we have only with vigilance. Just as freedom for the individual comes from the 12 steps, so freedom from the group springs from our traditions. As long as the ties that bind us together are strong from those that will tear us apart, all will be well. 1, our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends on NA unity. 2, for our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority. Our loving God is He may express Himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants, they do not know. 3, the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using. 4, each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or NA as a whole. 5, each group has but one primary purpose, to carry the message to the addict who still suffers. 6, an NA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the NA name to any related facility or outside enterprise. These problems of money, property, or prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7, every NA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contribution. 8, Narcotics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. 9, NA as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. 10, Narcotics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the NA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. 11, our public relation policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. 12, anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities.
Thank you for all who read. Now, our scheduled speaker for this workshop are these lovely ladies, Elizabeth T. and Amber J.
My name's Amber and I'm a recovering addict.
Hey, Amber.
Good morning, guys. I am really grateful to be here and to be clean. We were just talking about, I was like, man, I hope a bunch of phones don't go off in this meeting.
Yes. Turn your phones up.
A little bit, but I get so sidetracked when the phone goes off. I was thought it's gone. Bye. But I'm really grateful to be here to be clean, and thank you guys for being of service to Narcotics Anonymous and hosting this workshop. And I do first of all like to ask, if anybody's new or they're feeling new, or I'm so glad that you're here, and I hope that I could just share a little bit about my experience, strength, and hope on this topic, and that you might be able to resonate with that or understand. I do like to say before I speak, my clean date is 7/5/2018. And Narcotics Anonymous sponsor, and I work the Narcotics Anonymous sets. And the reason why I say that is because I was not, when I first ever experienced recovery, I was not introduced to Narcotics Anonymous. I was a dual fellowshipper. I was bisexual, don't discriminate. And part of the process in that, and what had happened for me, is that, I found that even though I thought I was being thorough and honest with each sponsor in both fellowships, I was given a little bit more to one and not the other, right? This was the more surfacey sponsor, and this was the one that didn't take the shit. And guess which one didn't take the shit? The anyone. And so I'm just, I was reminded very gently that it was important for me to, if I did want to live, if I did want to be dual fellowship, that it was important for me to pick one of the fellowships to do my sponsorship and servicing. But what I can tell you is that there's no fellowship that has made me feel the way that Narcotics Anonymous does. I've been to all different kinds of fellowships, and this one is all inclusive. I don't need anything more than that. And so that's why Narcotics Anonymous is the fellowship of my heart. So if you're feeling new, or you don't know about this way of life, I just ask you to just hang in there. Just keep coming back. Don't use no matter what, first and foremost. And I promise you that your life will change. If you do what we do, your life will change whether you want it to or not. And I didn't, it's funny, my friend was asking me yesterday, she's like, so do you have like everything planned out, Nah, bro, I heard about what the topic was, and I was just gonna show up. And that's just the truth for me, man, because I don't want to, put something out and then I'm not able to touch on what I thought I was going to share about and feel like, oh, I just ask God to guide my tongue, and whatever's supposed to be said here today is what's going to happen. I am excited to be here on a workshop of taking care of our body. I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would be doing a workshop like this. But a little bit about me and why this topic is important for me. You know, my past in growing up, and I know I'm not unique in it because I've reached out to some people in Narcotics Anonymous. This is a very, very present topic for me in my recovery. This is a journey that, you know, these deep bedded things that have been taught to me and told to me all throughout my life has made this journey that much more difficult in the process of taking care of my body. But I'm reminded to be gentle with myself and continue to do what I need to do so that I came here because I wanted to change. I wanted a different way to live. I wanted to learn to love myself. And then I come here and I'm hating on myself. I didn't get clean to do that. And so, but I do like to, you know, I guess I want to go a little bit back because, you know, it did start from a very young age, you know. I don't believe that my mom ever pressed, you know, where I wasn't taught how to take care of my body was the simplistics of bathing and brushing your teeth every day. You know, unfortunately, my mom is a drug addict. She still is using today. You know, I hope she makes it here one day. I don't know. My hope is thin on that one, but you know, I've seen God do some pretty amazing things for me and some other people in my life. So I would love for God to prove me wrong on that one. But you know, I wasn't really taught how to take care of myself. You know, and I think that a lot of times, you know, I love that she has the Living Clean book, which I'm sure she's going to break down, you know, on her part, but I love this book, man. If you've never read our Living Clean book, man, I strongly suggest that you do. There is a whole extravagant part in there about taking care of ourselves. And, you know, it's not just about like the physical part, right? It's so much more than that. And so when I, you know, growing up, not being taught how to take care of my body, it was like, you didn't really think about the importance of it. My mom didn't take us to doctor's appointments. She was too busy getting loaded in trap houses, you know. And then when I got into foster care, my foster mom she had an eating disorder. She was extremely anorexic. And it was embedded into me as a child that I was a fat kid. And I'm gonna tell you, I look back at those pictures and I was like, damn, I was skinny mini. What? Like, I was tiny, you know? And so the reason why I bring these things up, and she was very abusive about it. You know, you're not going to be beautiful unless you look this way. You know, society, oh, you're not going to be beautiful, right? And the reason why I bring those things up is because those physical appearance parts of taking care of our bodies, of what you should look like, was taught to me. It made me neglect also the medical aspect of taking care of my body. So being an addict in active addiction, that was not going to be any surprise to me that I wasn't going to take care of my body. I'm sorry. Going to the doctors was the last thing on my mind. And I honestly hated doctors anyway. My mom would drag us to hospitals and fake illnesses or purposely injure herself so that she could get narcotics. And so I hated hospitals. I hated doctors. I hated all that. When I get sick, I'm like, please, I don't want to go. Like, you know, and so I did a lot of neglecting to take care of myself in active addiction, right? And of course, you know, I did substances that, you know, made me not eat, right? And I was like, cool, I'm living my best life. Ooh, I look good, you know, and didn't even realize I weighed 105 pounds. Like, it was crazy. And then I come to Narcotics Anonymous, man. I'm gonna just jump, right? Because I don't need to tell you what that was like. Y'all probably relate a lot to that. I don't know many addicts who did a lot of doctor's visits unless that was your journey as to why you did what you did. This is just my experience. And so I get clean, man. And like I said, I've been, I've always sold myself short on this taking care of my body part because, like I said, it's deep seated from past. And so then what happened to me, I didn't realize that I loved food until I got clean. Because I didn't eat a lot of food when I was using, okay? I mean, I very vividly remember when I was living in my car in active addiction, and I would go, get my food stamps, the old song, I'm not gonna say it on recording or whatever, but I would get, a case of cup of noodles for the month, right? I get the one little box, and I was like, cool, dinner for the month, we're good. And that was my reality. Because I would be so weak and fatigued, I couldn't eat hard stuff in active addiction. My teeth hurt. I'm probably a hard jaw jack too. I'm not gonna lie. Made my teeth sore. And so, I get clean and I find that I have the disease of addiction by working steps, right? Because when I got here, it was about the drugs for me, right? I just wanted to stop using. I needed a different way to live. And then all of a sudden, I find out it's not just the drugs. Drugs were just my coping mechanism, right? They were the one thing that I thought made me feel better. And so I get clean, I start eating food, I start, trying to understand who I am. And then I realize, like somebody had just said in the workshop before that I was just in, I put down the spoon and I picked up the fork, bro. And, food became a coping mechanism for me. When I was sad, I eat. When I'm mad, I eat. When I'm happy, then I eat. I eat. And so, and so I get into this place where I'm like trying to learn this deal where I'm told that I gotta do all the things encompassing for my recovery to take care of myself. Like, why am I gonna get clean and try to stay clean and have all this clean time, but I don't take care of myself and I die from something because I neglect to take care of my body? I'm really robbing God of the opportunity to be able to be of service by carrying a message. But I'm also robbing my friends and my family the opportunity to have me in their life as a direct result of neglecting myself. And so, the Living Clean book, it talks a lot about, a lot of us are sometimes afraid to go to doctors for fear of what we did in active addiction, the damage that was done. And so sometimes we'll neglect. For me, I won't go because I'm like, I don't need you to tell me. I know what I was doing was wrong and I don't want to know what happened. I'm clean. And, my teeth got messed up. I also got some hereditary family stuff. Obesity runs thick in my family. I didn't know that. Gum disease runs huge in my family. And so it wasn't just about what the drugs physically did to me, but it was also these things in what I'm supposed to be taking care of as a human being, not even just as an addict in recovery, as a human being. And I'm so scared to be vulnerable with these people, right? It is no secret that I'm thicker than a snippet, okay? I'm well aware, and it has been a constant in my current recovery. And what I'm going to say right here is, since I've been clean this time, because this ain't my first go in Narcotics Anonymous. People, who are here loving and supporting me, which I love you. Thank you for being here. And other people who are here too. I'm so glad you're here. But I get so like, I've been clean so many different times in Narcotics Anonymous. I've had multiple years, if that makes sense. Multiple years. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Okay. Haven't had enough coffee today. And so, you know, get a couple years, go back out, get a couple years, go back out, man. And, you know, the one thing that I really, couple things I neglected when being in Narcotics Anonymous, right? I started, maybe not finish it, because I'm like, nah, that's too hard. I don't want to deal with that. I'm good. We'll just put it to the side. We'll deal with that later, you know? But I have neglected to take care of my body in Narcotics Anonymous. And the biggest part, and not just the physical, right? Because that part is a chronic battle as well, right? I'll go through these facts in my recovery. And again, if this makes you uncomfortable with me talking about weight shit, keep coming back. We're learning to take care of our bodies. This is just my truth and my experience, you know. It is so hard, you know, after you realize that you've emotionally ate your recovery away. And then you have this experience where you feel like the drastics of being too small or no, being too big for your own body. Those are huge drastics. And as addicts, me as an addict, I'm drastic. I'm all or nothing. I want to be a bag of bones, or I want to be, you know, big, and I actually want to be in the middle today, you know, and I do struggle with it, you know, but people who know me in my recovery today know that it's the physical aspect I'm more accepting of, right? You know, I'm currently working a program, a different program outside of Narcotics Anonymous. Now I have friends in Narcotics Anonymous who also use food, right, as a coping mechanism because we are addicts, right? The disease of addiction. And I stay in Narcotics Anonymous to work on my food shit and my feelings and my all the stuff, the shopping, the gambling, the fucking, like all that is in here. You know, fortunately, I can't say this time around the sex hasn't been an issue for me. Because I don't. You know, because I'm just not about that life anymore, man. But anyway, again, squirrel, I told you guys, I tried to warn you. You know, you know, the physical part has been good for me. So I'm working this current program. I'm doing some IWW stuff to try to learn to take care of my body. And I've done this shit for almost 4 years. So in July, I'll have 4 years. And it's been an on and off battle, man. I'll lose a lot of weight, I'll gain. And I went to see the doctor. And the doctor was like, you are abusive to your body. Right? And I was like, what are you talking about? I have 3 years clean. Excuse me? You have no idea what abusive to my body is. Right? My shit. Should have met me back in 2006. Okay? You know, because I've been using dope since I was 8 years old. And it wasn't by choice initially, right? So I was really robbed. I robbed myself of the journey. And so I'm getting the physical part down, but it's and I'm working with the doctor's part, and I don't like it because I'm new to Georgia, so I've been here about 8 months. For those of you that don't know, I moved here. I'm a Washington State transplant. No, I didn't live in Seattle. You're welcome. Everybody's like, oh, you're from Seattle. No, there's more cities in Washington than Seattle. But you know, and so I've been working this journey of trying to get in touch with doctors to be able to do this, taking care of my body part, because this has been a journey that I've been on since I've been here, and I've been really vulnerable with some women in this program about trying to work on that. And you know, again, I'm surprised that I did this workshop because this is a very sensitive topic. You know, I think a lot of people are like, oh, it is what it is. You know, we all have insecurities. Have you ever really got in depth and talked with people about them? Because I know for me, everything about taking care of my body is so ginger and so uncomfortable. I literally want to crawl out of my skin because it is so uncomfortable to talk about. I have used and abused my body just like that doctor said, and what he had meant, and he'd gone on to say, right, of course, I was just like, what, excuse me. What he went on to say was, you were in active addiction for a lot of your life, and then you were really small, and then you gained weight, and then you were really small again, and then you gained weight, and then you were really small again, and then you gained weight, and then you were really small. Your body doesn't know what the fuck to do. It doesn't know whether to hold on to it all and gain it all and just save it, because it doesn't know when you're going to starve yourself again. And I was like, what? I didn't think about that. I didn't think about the anatomy of the body trying to do that, right? So then I was like, okay, cool, we're going to work on this physical part, because I didn't get clean to allow my physical appearance, because my head tells me, and I know this is insane shit, but this would be me 100 with you guys. You guys asked, here we go.
Okay.
I have a lot of like physical self-image, negative self-talk. I allow my process, I do a lot of good shit to take care of my body. And I still struggle with losing weight. And so that's why I'm also trying to have my doctor help me, make sure I don't have some thyroid shit going on. I don't know. Either which way, I do the work, but my mind tells me that I'm defined by what you physically see. And sometimes I won't go and do things with other people because of that insecurity. And it makes me sad for myself. Because that robs me of the reason why I came here, was to find a different way to live. Going about an active addiction and searching for that love and acceptance, man. And then finally finding it, and then I'm gonna push you guys away because of some physical bullshit. No, I refuse, man. I've been through way too much, to allow that to rob me of what Narcotics Anonymous is offering me. Through the process of healing in step work, through the process of healing with friendships, through the process of healing with myself. That was the first part of literature that ever hit me in Narcotics Anonymous. Thank God for H&I. I was in an institution, and a woman in NA was sharing her experience, strength, and hope, and she said, we did many people great harm, but most of all, we harmed ourselves. That was the very first line of literature in Narcotics Anonymous that I resonated with. It was the first sentence that when it was read, I popped my head up. You know how when you knew and you'd be looking down and whatever, and you just kind of do a little side glare, a little, they don't see me, okay with that. Okay, make eye contact, hold on. I played that game, right? I was very familiar with what my shoes looked like when I got here. And is the best way that I try to describe that. And that was the first time I had that little peekaboo moment where I made eye contact with her and like didn't break contact with her. Because I resonated a lot with that, and so the physical part's being taken care of. The part that's the hardest for me, not just the hard physical part, is the internal battle that has been embedded in me, that I have embedded in myself. I surrounded myself with people who were shit in active addiction, right? And I get clean and I'm like, no, I don't want to hang out with them. Like, people are fake or whatever, and really I wasn't, shit when I got here. I didn't know how to be a friend. I thought I did, right? But even in unhealthy ways, I would do anything that it took to obtain relationships in here. And I was told that I didn't have to do the shady things to obtain that anymore. And so I'm doing some work with 2 people, right? So the physical part, I've got a little bit of, bigger group. The internal part, I don't let everybody walk in on that journey. That walk that I'm physically going through right now. Because again, 1, I have a disease that tells me I don't have one. 2, I have these things that I've embedded so deeply in my mind that it might take that long to let go of some of those thought processes for me. You know, I didn't realize that like allowing people around me who talk to me like crap was gonna affect me in the long run with my self-esteem. Had no idea that I was worth not being talked to like that. Didn't realize that was gonna affect the taking care of my body part. Cause the mental is part of my body, bro. And my mental got messed up from the people that I surrounded myself with. In active addiction and in early recovery. Fortunately, this time I was able to dive in, and I know like I needed to hang out with people who'd been clean longer. For me, the blind can't lead the blind, right? And I needed people who had been around long enough to remind me that I needed some more guidance than what my new brain was giving me. And so I'm really trying to work on the internal battle right now. I have a very beautiful friend of mine in here today. It was suggested to me to reach out to her in regards to trying to work on that part because, and the mental, because I forget about that part, right? I'm like, oh, it's just because of the way I feel physically, I just feel like it's all a physical thing, but I forget it's deep-seated stuff, man. It's not just the surface that I tell myself it is, right? Just like being an addict and using drugs, it's not just a physical act of using, bro. Like it's so much more than that. I didn't know that till I got here. And so a friend of mine was like, hey, why don't you reach out to this woman in recovery? She's really good in that area with learning to take care of ourselves and learning to love ourselves. And the self part of this program isn't just about working the steps and moving on. It's about really learning to take care of ourselves internally and externally. It's not just about washing the clothes and putting them away, but it's about like really, you ever wash clothes, dried them, went to put them away and found that there were some really fucked up things that you missed. You didn't hit it with the spray wash. You know, didn't hit it with the OxyClean. You know, it was a white shirt, didn't hit it with the bleach, you know. And then now you feel like you're burnt because you already dried it. The stain's already set. Well, I was told when I got here, it didn't have to be set. And if I didn't like that shirt, that I could get a new one if I wanted, but I was gonna have to work to get the shirt.
Wicked.
I'm a paint pictures kind of girl. I like to use analogies. It makes sense to me. And that's what that felt like for me. And so I'm currently on this, I jokingly say stupid shit because it's uncomfortable. I'm currently doing what my treatment center when I was 12 that I went to, my first rehab I went to, learning to put affirmations up and say them out loud to myself. And boy, if I don't tell you that is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. Again, I've been through some hard things in this program. I didn't realize it was going to be this hard. And so, I'm continuing to do it because I believe you guys in here, when you say, I did this and this is what could work for me. When you guys say, when I did A, B, and C, D happened for me, and I'm like, no. I don't want A, B, and C. I just want D. No, but you know, I just want to jump to the result. I don't want to do the work. You know, sorry, don't tell me I had to grab you. Don't act. Don't act. Man. Y'all didn't know what she was getting into. I just wanted to jump to that end result, and I was told that I really wasn't gonna reap the rewards without the process. Right? Okay, cool. I could give it to you, but you aren't gonna understand the value of it unless you do the work, Amber. I'm like, I don't want to do the work. You know, I remember vividly telling this woman, I said, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, I can do the little affirmations now, but I probably can't say it. Because I cry so hard that I can't even get the words out of my fucking, I can't even get the, I love you, Amber, or Amber, you're worth it. I can't even, I make eye contact with Amber and I'm like, oops, skirt, bye. It's so uncomfortable, y'all. But I'm doing it and I'm hysterically crying through the sentence anyway. It's getting a little bit easier to say it. I could say the sentence without it taking like 10-15 minutes. And that's huge for me. I'm not fully there. This is very much a very present topic for me in my recovery. I don't know that I'll ever fully be recovered from the abuse that I've done to myself. But what I do know is, again, like, I have a disease that tells me I don't have one. And it wants me dead, but it will settle for miserable. And I didn't get clean to be miserable in Narcotics Anonymous. I just didn't. You know? So I'm continuing to do the work, man. This is a very huge, broad topic, you know, in regards to learning to take care of ourselves. And you know, I guess my hope is that maybe somebody got something from that, you know, that you were able to resonate with, that you were able to say me too with, because I do believe this is a Me Too program. You know, and I don't believe that Narcotics Anonymous would be the program that it is if it wasn't for the Me Too factor. Because that's the most important word to be saying here is Me Too, man. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to be of service and listening to my nonsense or whatever. I'm really grateful to be here and to be clean. And I love you guys. And I cannot wait for the rest of this weekend to transpire.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to follow that. Hi, Elizabeth, I'm an addict.
Hey, Elizabeth.
I am not a Georgian. I am a Floridian, and I'm very blessed today to be here with you guys. And I'm grateful.
Welcome.
Welcome.
So, I just want to put it out there. Like, I know that I look like I'm one of those literature gurus, but I am not. I brought this for a very specific reason. When I was asked to speak on this topic, I had no idea what the hell was going on. Like, I have a long list of initials that you can add past my name: Elizabeth Turner, licensed massage therapist; Elizabeth Turner, PTA, soon to be PhD. Like, I'm medically and clinically qualified to talk on this. But I wanted to know what anyone would say about taking care of ourselves in recovery. Like, you don't need all of the medical information out there. So I didn't know where to go. And then at 4 o'clock this morning, while I'm waiting on my friends to show up, it hits me. Living Clean has an entire chapter on our physical self. So what does the literature have to say? So I opened it up, and before you even get to the chapter, it states in here, learning to live in our bodies isn't easy. We haven't been kind to them, and often they bear the painful scars of our addiction. Making peace with our physical selves is necessary for our physical survival, but it is also a part of our amends process, an act of self-acceptance and a way we experience freedom, healing, and joy. So that was like, I was like, okay, now I have some direction. Thank you for sharing your story. There's actually quite a bit that overlaps with my own. So me too, you know, like it really is. And, you know, when I was asked to speak on this, like my disease and my brain told me I wasn't qualified, because since I've gotten clean, I have put on like 35 pounds, you know, and before I got clean, before my last trial that sent me into actually looking for real help, like I was a gym rat. Like I was in the gym 7 days a week, sometimes twice a day. Like it was an obsession. It was an addict form of physical fitness and taking care of my body, except my shoulders were shredded and I had nerve pain, I had back pain, you know, it didn't matter because I looked damn good in a mini dress and you could bounce quarters off my ass, but I hated myself. It didn't matter what I looked like because I was abusive to myself. Like, I thought about that this morning on, as I was getting ready, was like, there is nobody, like, I have a long history of abuse, you know, in my story. And there are times in my story where nobody was more abusive to me than me. And, you know, I learned at a very, very early age.
Please turn your phone off. That's disrupting.
You got one, I got one. Alright. So I learned at a very early age how to disassociate, like to disconnect from my body. I had my first sexual experience before I ever reached kindergarten. You know, so I learned at a very, very early age that my body was, or I was learned, the story that was given to me was my body was not mine. It was meant for other people to use with or without my permission for their own needs. I spent a whole lot of years chasing my vitamin D for my self-acceptance and my self-worth and my self-value and looking, you know, outside, you know, sex was, I was taught, my biological father made it very clear to me growing up, he is not a fan of women. He's just not. And he's got 3 daughters. And he let us know very, very young age that the only value my body held was for sex. I was only worth something if I was on my back. Those are quote unquote words from my father. And so I grew up believing that that was the only thing that I had a value. And if I couldn't get a man to sleep with me, then I had nothing to offer. I wasn't worth loving. So, you know, I spent a lot of time trying to make my outside physical body not what I wanted, but what somebody else wanted. And, you know, that was extremely abusive. How many times I abandoned my own self to make sure that I was dictating for others. You know, and I come to Narcotics Anonymous, and in this book it says we let go of the idea that the pieces need to line up perfectly for us to be okay. And I'm like, shit. Nobody ever told me that before. You know, I am 37 years old, and I am just now starting to get to a point where I am okay in my own skin. I had no idea what my shoes looked like when I came in here, but I knew what the back of my knees looked like. I was the girl that was sitting like this, and all you could see in a meeting was just my eyes. I was terrified. I was terrified. And I didn't feel good in my own skin. My body is something that I don't think about as much as I used to. And that's wonderful for me. It's become more of the vessel that carries my spirit. It's the vessel that carries my spirit. It's the vessel that processes my emotions. It's not, you know, it is my divine temple. It is what is my essence. It's what carries me through this world. And that was not an idea that I had before I got clean. I've done a ton of work in the last year or so solely around self-love and self-acceptance because I didn't have that. And my sponsor gave me a shit ton of homework when it comes to those things. You know, affirmations are one of those things, man, they do, they're uncomfortable and they feel dumb as hell. You know, you feel silly. But when I wake up in the morning, if you walk in my bathroom, on my bathroom mirror, and I have a giant mirror in my bathroom, over here is third step prayer and some other stuff. But the very first thing I see when I wake up in the morning, from me to me, is hello gorgeous. Every morning. So, you know, and I just, so this is an uncomfortable topic to talk about. It's very uncomfortable sitting here and talking about it. You know, a couple of the things I highlighted in here because I'm losing train of thought is our physical, emotional, and spiritual lives are interwoven. We can think of them separately, but we cannot experience them separately. So that's like when I'm taking care of my body, it's not just about my physical body, it's about my spiritual health, it's about my physical health. You know, all the other like sexual stuff aside, like I'm one of those people who finds my value in my doing and not in my being. We were having this conversation on the way up. You know, I have a habit of even clean, like I'm going to get this degree, I'm going to do this, I'm going to cross off this goal, I'm going to read this book, I'm going to accomplish this, I'm going to do that. Like all of my self-growth is in my doing. So when I take my body and I fill it with all this stuff, and I burn the candles at both ends, and I fill this vessel of divinity up with chaos and noise, I can't hear my higher power speak to me. And sometimes it's not something that I do just to abuse myself, but it is a place I hide. I hide in my doing because as long as I'm moving and going, I don't have to check in with you. I don't have to look at me. I can look at you, but I don't have to look at me. And I have learned, you know, I'm one of those people that, like, before I got clean, like, being by myself was not something that I was comfortable with. I hated being by myself. I did not enjoy my own company. Now, leaving the house sounds so stupid. Like, it really does sound so stupid. Like, I didn't grow up in a home that I wanted to go home to. You know, I grew up in a lot of chaos, a lot of abuse, and everybody yelling at each other and screaming and throwing things, and even then, you know, into active addiction, because I too started using very, very young. You know, smoking by the time I was 10, and then it just spiraled from there. And so then, of course, that environment's chaos. You know, it's always chaos. It wasn't until I got clean and I have this house that the first year I had it, I was using. I didn't have furniture, I didn't have TV, I didn't have shit, because I did not care about that stuff, because I was still using. I had a house, I was cured, I was fine. I have a house, I got a job, I'm fine, until I'm selling my clothes and stuff to make the light bill, because and now I have a home that's got furniture like crap ton of plants. I made me a 12-step program for plants. But they make me happy. They make me happy. And when I was in active addiction, I kill everything I touch. Now I have this beautiful oasis of things that I take care of. Because it's not unmanageable that I buy this plant and it dies. Like, I take care of it. And that's because I asked my sponsors, like, what are all my plants? Are all the plants you buy die? And I was like, no. She goes, then you're nurturing it, you're taking care of it. It's not unmanageability unless you're spending hundreds of dollars on shit you're just letting die. Just turn around and spend $100 of shit that you're just gonna let shit die. I don't know what that has to do with my physical body, but I love my plants. They're my babies. They have names and backstories. But you know, back to like the body, like I didn't have a relationship with my physical self when I got clean. And it says right here, like the very first like subtitle in this chapter is it's a relationship. It talks about all the long periods of time that we spent abusing and neglecting and, you know, not going to the doctor. Like I was clean for 2.5 years before I finally went and got glasses again. And to be able to see. It's great. My driver's license says I'm supposed to wear corrective lenses, and I was just winging it. You know, I was out there, you know, living life on the edge. But it's been great. It's been great to be able to see. My eyes really appreciate it with all the screen time that I get. But you know, I spent a lot of time trying to escape my body. I still struggle with disassociation and not realizing that I'm off in the ethers until I come back. And I'm like, oh shit, where was I for the last 45 minutes? You ever been driving down the road and you're like, where the hell are you coming to?
How did I get home?
It's a route that I've driven 1,000 times before, but all of a sudden, what, did I pass Holman? Have I done that yet? Like, why am I not dead? Like, I don't understand how I haven't wrapped my car around a tree, but I do. So it's very hard for me to stay grounded and then in our physical body. Especially when I'm uncomfortable. I'm very uncomfortable there. I spend a lot of time not looking in the mirror. I don't want to look. I don't want to look at my little bra bulge back here. You know, I don't want to look at the cellulite and the stretch marks that I have on my thighs. Instead of celebrating it for curing a child into the world or all the other things that it's done, or the survival through active addiction that I've been through, instead of celebrating it, I criticize it. I tell her she's not good enough, you know, and instead of like, so I've been really working on just like loving myself where I'm at. And am I taking the active things to like change and do better? Yeah, I work out, probably too much. Like I'm now nursing a back injury from trying to deadlift 200 pounds. Come on. But I cleaned it.
That's right.
I got it. I'm going to nurse this back injury for the next 3
Right.
weeks. So, you know, I quit smoking. Like that was hard for me. I quit smoking 1,000,000 times, and I'm hoping that it sticks this time. But unlike all the other times, I just tell myself, I don't, just for today, I don't smoke. And when I ask myself, I'm like, are you still doing this? I'm like, I'll smoke tomorrow. If I still wanna smoke, I'll smoke tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes, and then I won't smoke. So just for
That's
today, like I'm just now getting to a point in my 3 years where just for today makes sense to me. Like some of these cliches, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, they make me wanna roll my eyes and spit, like, especially when I first got clean, I was like, ugh. But like, now I'm like really learning how to grasp it, like it makes sense to me, it's not just shit you guys say, like it's actual things that make sense to me. So yeah, so I'm getting grounded, you touched on, and it's highlighted in my book, about, we joke that we put down a spoon and picked up the fork. And it's fun that we talks about here how we use our sense of humor to find light in our poor self-image. And we make I know I'm horrible at self-deprecating humor. It's negative self-talk designed as a joke, but my spirit don't know the difference. My spirit just hears the word. So I too have put on the weight from quit smoking because now I don't use anymore. I don't smoke anymore. Cigarettes have been my best friend since I was 10 years old. How do I cope? Reese's. Lots and lots of Reese's. You know, I went through a bad breakup about a month ago, and when my heart is torn to pieces, that first Reese's, second Reese's feels like a good hug, feels like a friend. That 16th Reese's feels like shame. And the shame cycle repeats itself over and over and over again. And it's the same shame cycle that I found myself in when I was using. I just repeat it with other avenues in my life. So having to like do deep work, man, that shit sucks. It's not, you know, it's a surrender thing. And I come into this program knowing that I had to surrender my addiction, but when it comes to myself, like that's something I can control. Like there's a checklist of things that I can do instead of surrendering that to my higher power as well. And knowing that if I just put one foot in front of the other, do the next right thing, that recovery works on my physical self just as it does on spiritual self. And I don't get to do work one without the other. It's, you know, we experience them the same. I feel my feelings physically. I don't feel them through my thoughts. I don't, you know, process them. You know, it's not a logical, it's a physical thing. So in Narcotics Anonymous, when you taught me that I get to feel again, the vessel that I do that with, I can either disconnect from it, continue the cycle, or I can get really into my physical body and take care of it and process these emotions once and for all. Once and for all. And there's lots of fascinating information now about unprocessed emotions and chronic pain and things, but y'all can read that yourself. That is not in a sponsor. And this chapter goes on and on. Like she said, if you haven't read it, read it. If you have read it, read it again. Read it again. It talks about sex. It talks about illness. I don't live that life anymore either. Like I don't just jump into bed with anybody anymore. I'm not going to take your chaos and your crazy and put it in me. No more. You know, I get to be the gatekeeper of that. Now, before that, I handed that responsibility over to somebody else, so now it's mine. Now it's mine. It talks about disability. That's not my story. Like there are things that talk about our emotional and our spiritual crisis. It talks about mental illness in this chapter. Mental illness is a part of my story. It's a long history of my story. And even though treatment of my mental illness is an outside issue, it affects my recovery directly. So, you know, I know that there can be stigmas about that, but if you're struggling with a mental illness and you need outside help, you do what you got to do to keep you clean.
Facts.
Like doing it alone didn't keep me clean. The only thing that got me clean, kept me clean, is Narcotics Anonymous. But the other things, like I'm an addict. I'm always going to be an addict. I will throw anything and everything at this shit to make sure I stay. All of it. All of it. You know, aging. I don't know what really good for my age, but you know, I'm approaching 40. Like I loved my early 30s. 36. Something inside me got a little panicky. It got a little panicky. Like my sexy years are over. I'm single. I'm 37 and never married. Like, you know, I'm like, oh shit, I ran out of time. You know, I let my chaos and my crazy, you know, run me out of time. And like, who's gonna want me now? Like, that's what my disease tells me. Like, it goes through that self-worth shit. But I don't know, like, it's like the closer I get to 40, the less fucks I get. Like, I don't know if that's like biological, but I'm here for it. You know, I'm here for it. But the more that I'm able to give less fucks about myself and like find like real acceptance and detachment from all of these stories that I've had to dismantle that were sold to me that weren't mine to begin with. Like, I now have space and acceptance and compassion for you to do the same. Like, I don't have to like take your things personally anymore. I can just love you where you're at because I'm loving you where I'm at. And I think for me, that's been the biggest thing. Because I believe that this program is a living, breathing organism. We all each have a role to play. We have our literature gurus. We have, in your face sponsors. We have like everybody plays a part that keeps it at it clean. And I'm here to love you where you're at, like unconditionally. Like I don't hound people. I don't carry people. I don't chase people. My pieces become too important for that, because I have to take care of me first. Me first. My kid likes me better this way, so I like me better this way, And my kid actually wants to be like me now. Like there are things that I do that she imitates, and that's insane for me because there are so many times where I'm like, please don't do the shit that I do. And she's got one more birthday before she's a teenager, and I made sure she has a therapist by the time she was 9. Like we're nipping because I know what it's like, and I know that like I struggled with these things at a very, very young age, and I assumed that it was because I had an abusive upbringing. It never occurred to me I was wired this way. That this is just who I am. It's how I was made up, and I didn't have resources growing up. My father was an abusive drunk. My mother was codependent and did the best that she could. She had her own host of issues, and I got lost in the shuffle of 4 kids. And so I made sure my kid has the resources so she can take care of herself. So I don't even know what else to say. Go read this. It ends on courage because this is a very uncomfortable thing to really get in your body, feel all your feelings, look at yourself, love yourself. It takes courage. It takes a big act of courage. So I never would have thought I would have courage in all of my life because I was a scared little girl for a very, very, very long time. But I don't have to be that now. I have freedom and my recovery because of this program, because of the people in these rooms. And it's a dance. Learning to take care of my physical self is a dance. Like they talk about balance is an illusion. I think the bullshit word that we use to make ourselves feel like everybody else has got it together and we don't. Yeah. And I don't want to do that to myself anymore. I'm tired of looking at everybody else going, what do they have that I don't have? Because I'm comparing my insides to your outside. I don't know the chaos that you're going through. I just assume it's not. Yeah. And I'm grateful for this program. I don't have no idea what time it is.
Girl, me neither.
11:43.
Y'all can keep talking for the rest of it.
So, I'm just glad. I'm grateful for the opportunity to do things different. I'm grateful for the opportunity to get to know myself. It's a never-ending journey, and that is both relieving and terrifying all at the same time. The duality is the spice of life. And I can feel both defeated and joyous at the same time. Joy in the midst of sorrow, that's what this program has taught me. I don't have to just feel the pain. I'm gonna feel the pain. I can't get rid of it. It's gonna happen. Life comes with pain, but it also comes with so many beautiful things that I don't have to throw away anymore. I can feel both because of this program. So that's all I got.
Yes.
Name's Rebecca and I'm an addict.
Hey, Rebecca.
If anyone would like to share, we have time. Just raise your hand, say my name. Go ahead. Still a meeting. Still a meeting. Please be quiet.
Thanks, Amber, and thanks, beautiful Floridian.
Hi.
I got a lot out of both of you, and I'm still figuring stuff out. But one thing's for certain, I know that if I don't take care of me first and put recovery first and put my higher power first, all stuff is going to hell in a handbasket. I have to put me first. I'm no good for nobody unless I put me first. My children, my job, everything. Because see, I have to trust what you all tell me. God blessed me where when I did my last drug or drink took away the drugs, the drink, and the cigarettes. You know, so when you do be in a medical professional, when you do give up stuff, you still want that same feeling. So you do put on weight, and I put on tons. And like you, I don't want to look in the mirror. I don't want to see this. I have a lot of self-esteem issues, you know, and when I was using, I self-medicated. So I wouldn't have to deal and look at me, you know, so yeah, exercising, it gives me that same kind of good feeling as the drugs do, as the chocolate does, you know. And now that I'm over that year mark, I'm starting to get the weight off. I'm happy I lost 9 pounds. And you know, when you're over 50, the weight comes off slowly, you know, and then you start, oh my goodness, I don't lose this weight like I did when I was young, you know, so you're beautiful. I wish I could be 37 again someday. Some days, but thanks for sharing, and I just know for me, I have to take care of me first. I don't care, I'm not taking care of nobody else first, because if I put my recovery first, that's how you're gonna get the best Keisha. Anything else that comes before that, you're not gonna get the best me. Thanks for letting me share.
Thanks, Keisha.
Hi, family. I'm Carrie. I'm a grateful recovery addict.
Hey, Carrie.
Yeah, at this convention and at this workshop, and thank you, ladies, for sharing such a clear, honest, gut level message. You know, and when we share from the heart, we touch the heart. And I definitely felt both of y'all's spirits, and you know, and there was so much identification. I have struggled off and on with weight. I actually had surgery, so I would stay small, but I just felt you. I remember when I was bigger and people would invite me to do things and I wouldn't go, especially when it was someone that hasn't seen me in a long time, because I knew that they haven't seen how much weight that I've gained, you know, and you just brought me back to a place. And, you know, I was just thinking like, you know, about my own self now, my own physical being and self-worth and self-love, and am I truly there as much as I think that I am? You know what I mean? But then I think about, okay, I had the bariatric surgery. I just had the tummy tuck. Now I want my legs done. You know what I mean? So thank you for opening that up for me, that I need to take a look at myself on a deeper level and start doing some writing, you know, because I'm not as comfortable in my own skin as I think I am. Because if I look and it's still something else. First, I'm too big, I get this surgery. Then I lose the weight. Now my tummy doesn't look good. So then I get this surgery. Now I don't like the way my legs look. I gotta stop. I gotta stop. You know, so I'm really grateful for y'all's honest sharing to touch my spirit and my heart and my soul for me to take a deeper look at myself. So awesome message, ladies. Thank you so much. I'm gonna keep coming back.
Thank you.
Sure.
My name is Diana and I'm an addict.
Hey, Diana.
I was told it was an inside job, you know, because all my life, not here, all my freaking life since I was a baby, a child, I have been trying to match my insides with their outsides. I don't care who they are. And I came in here and they're telling me it's an inside job, and I didn't know what they were talking about. I am really, if you know me, you know I am really into that inside job. I am really into taking care of myself. I am that loving yourself. I'm there, babe. I'm there. But I, you know, and those affirmations are the beginning. They're the beginning. And I tell everybody that I work with, put shit around mirrors, take it to your job, say it out loud, put it in your car. I don't care where you do it, just do it. You know, because you're not going to get anywhere if you don't do it. And loving yourself takes time, because we're abusive. It takes time. But if you give time, you get there. You get there. You know, and it's not on the outside. not on the outside. Love your wrinkles. Love your rolls. Love them. Love them because they're yours. They're yours. But it took a long time. It took a real long time. I love this meeting. Thank you, ladies. I didn't know what the fuck to say. But I'm really glad I came and I'm really glad I stayed. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
My name is Megan, great recovering addict.
Hey,
Megan.
Thank you, ladies. That took a lot of courage. And by you guys, you ladies, having that courage, it helps me say what I need to say about where I'm at. And it wasn't just last week. I talked to someone that had seen me in years on Google Duo. And they looked at my stomach. They asked me, was I pregnant? I've been working out. Have I given up sodas completely? No. Do I take more than one trip to a fast food restaurant a week? Yes, I do. I'm not doing all the things to have a flat stomach. I'm just doing the best I can today. I mean, I had a calzone yesterday. Now I'm saving the rest. And I'm like, I don't even think I have a microwave. I'm just holding on to it. Not good for my waistline. Maybe I'll find some woods to put it in now that I'm saying this out loud. You know, I get a salad. Yes. So when I was at Under the Sun, I got this ring. It's an NA ring. And this means that I'm married to NA. Not to the men of NA, but just to the program and the fellowship that I found with these women. Because I need each and every one of you. And I need you guys to back up for a little while, okay? Because I am in a place right now where I'm learning to take care of myself. I'm going to doctor's appointments. I'm seeing about my thyroid. And I'm still smoking cigarettes. And my doctor has said, you don't stop smoking. My doctor told me, if you stop smoking, you're 7 times more likely not to develop this eye disease called Graves, where your eyes are confused out your head. And that's not enough. There's a part of me, before Amber even started sharing, I wanted to go have a cigarette. I'm like, I don't know if I can make it to this meeting. That's probably going to do that afterward.
Me too.
Thank y'all for letting me share. Love y'all.
Love you, Megan.
This is Mom and Dad.
Hey, Susan.
She's trying to stand up. You don't have. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for walking with us through this journey. I'm trapped in my body now, and this is the first convention I've attended there. You know, I had a good run, but what happened is I worked and had no money, so I didn't go to the doctor. And when I could go to the doctor, I was still working full time at a job that didn't give me time. So not only have I gained several pounds and started isolating, like Amber shared, don't want to eat with people because of how I'm feeling and looking. So I was never heavy before, ever. And my back, my hips, and my etc. doesn't work. And I'm getting help and I'm going to the doctors. So what you walk away with from this workshop is these ladies told our story, and you don't have to be overweight to qualify.
That's right.
Because
That's right.
eating comes in different levels. I will not, I came here, I forced myself to come, and I'm very happy today.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy, thank you for being here and here telling my story. So, you know, this comes in several different colors, right? So, I don't stay in the lines. I reach out for help now. I ask for help. None of you are mine. And if I don't tell you what I need, I'm the person that's going to suffer, and I don't give you the pleasure of helping you. So these people right here have been dragging my ass around in this wheelchair. And cane really doesn't work, and I really want to thank everybody that's helping, to be here. Anyway, thank you, ladies.
Love you, Susan.
Hello, my name is Linda and I'm an addict.
Hey, Linda.
My disease was just making me sit here saying, oh, they don't want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
They don't, why are you opening up your mouth? You don't need to do that. So I just told my disease, shut the fuck up and go stay.
There we go.
Because I'm here to save my ass, not my face. That's why I'm here. And taking care of your body is, I was looking and you said you're 37. I came into the room to Narcotics at 37. I wish I had been here before then, but I wasn't. But I've been here ever since. And I'm 68. And so I've been and of course, taking care of your body. I tried to do the best I could over the years that I've been here. Not perfectly. And I'm at a point, as Susan just shared, that I'm trapped a lot of times in my body. That my body has, you do a lot of damage. Me too, 8 years old, using drugs. You at 8 years old, me too. And so I did a lot of harm, and I'm reaping the benefits of the program, but I'm also reaping the punishments that I did to my body all those years of not taking care of myself. And there are days where I can't walk. There are days where getting out of the bed is an impossible task. I sleep with a cane by the side of the bed. So the days that I cannot get out of the bed, I have to pull up on that cane in order to do that. Does it happen every day? No. Does it happen every week? No. But when it happens, you feel like you're trapped. Like, oh my God, this is how I'm gonna have to live the rest of my life. The program of Narcotics Anonymous tells me if I do the next right thing and live just for the day and don't worry about tomorrow, it's gonna be okay. Do I do that perfectly? No. I have to say, I had to use the cane this morning to get out of bed. After I get up and I walk a little bit and I get in the shower and do those kinds of things, the next right thing, the next right thing, the next right thing, I'm able to come and I'm walking. By this evening, I'll be dancing. Tomorrow, it might be something different. But just for the day, I'm grateful that I'm able to go to doctors. Some people can't. Some people can't get medical care. Some people can't. I'm blessed in my life. One of the things you talked about being a gym rat, I was a dance rat. And I studied ballet for 22 years. And the damage that I did dancing and getting high off those endorphins. My spine just freaked out. My legs are freaked out. My feet are freaked out. But you know what? My spirit, which is more important than any part of my body, my spirit is healthy today because of the program of Narcotics Anonymous and walk working steps. And at 31 years clean, every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, I do step work with my sponsor. 31 years clean. I'm not going to change it for anything because it gets me to the next right thing. That it shows me that no matter what my disease says, my recovery can carry my ass far. My recovery carries me. It allows me to hug and love all of y'all. I love hugging y'all. I love hugging y'all. And as Susan also said that we got other diseases. I've been clean so long, and stress came in and something else that I had wrong with me, it decided to come up, where I forget to eat. I don't look like I forget to eat because when I remember, I eat a lot.
That's hard.
But I forget. And so my doctor threatens me and said,
Right.
he saw in the blood work, he said, you're not eating. What are you doing? What are you abusing yourself? Why are you continuing to abuse your body? And so I tell everybody that loves me, ask me, risk my anger and ask me, what did you eat today? And I promise you, if you come to me in love, I'll tell you the truth. Because I was lying to people. I joined Noom so that it would keep me honest so that I could eat. I was lying to the freaking phone.
Don't do it.
I'm telling you. Oh, well, I ate this and I ate that. That's what I planned on eating, but I didn't. I was like, I'm paying these people a lie to them. How crazy it is. But I promise the people who love me and they ask me, what did I eat today? I'll tell you. And it reminds me, well, maybe I needed to. I just chewed on five Fritos. And in my mind, oh, that's a meal. They're corn.
No. I got
Bag still. The other thing, maybe for lunch, I'll have the other five. It's not, our disease, as you said, wants us to suffer. It does not want us healthy. My heart, my spirit, my mind is wonderful right now. I'm in such peace in my life. So my disease says, oh, let's get her. I know how to get her. And make her think she needs her. And she didn't. Make her think that it's okay. The doctor said lose weight. Yeah, 40 pounds later. I think I'm the only person during the pandemic that lost weight. Because nobody was there to remind me. Not good. Your disease wants you dead. Not dead of body, dead of spirit. And I fear that more than anything. Oh my God. I fear not being at peace and serenity more than anything. Because I came in here damn near dead, crawled in here, damn near dead. And I don't want to be dead of spirit again. I could be laying on the bed and unable to walk forever, but as long as my spirit's in the right, and I have the ability to love you all in a healthy way, I don't need anything else. I don't need anything else. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you for sharing.
I'm gonna add Tracy.
Hey, Tracy.
We got time for one short one.
It's a short one.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna share it because I didn't think man went.
Come on, man.
Come on.
Come on, man.
You gotta spit it out.
Come on.
Definitely all the body issues, the image issues. Growing up, I was teased about from my family being the garbage disposal because I ate it.
You too?
You know, and I hid a lot of that stuff. And when you really said about the reasons, and that's the stuff I deal with that now. Like currently, I'm learning how to tell myself the truth. Like aside from the body image, like I still have real health issues. Like I can't eat more fries. I can't eat the chips. Like my blood pressure will go through the roof. But I'll tell myself that 5's okay. And then 5 becomes 10. 10 becomes 20. And next thing you know, I'm going back trying to do all this crazy shit to get my blood pressure under control. It should have killed me. And all of it comes back to, and I like the lady sharing earlier about, learning how to love myself. It's like it's a deep love. But for me right now, like it's like when I get to young, I still gotta look and tell myself, like, you don't need this and then there's a better way. But I just keep showing up and just keep trying to tell myself to keep trying. And I really identify, because I did the new thing too, and I lied my ass off on it. But I'm grateful now that I'm in the program that we all understand together.
That's right.
Me too. Anyway, that's all.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that.
Thanks for our workshop speakers and all the participants. There is a special announcement for one. There is a white Subaru crosswalk parked in the front of the Woodland and Hilton building that will be towed if not moved by 1:30. As our 11th tradition states, our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and film. The primary purpose of our public relation effort is to tell the story of Narcotics Anonymous and what our program offers to the still suffering addict. Members of the press are often attracted to our convention and we welcome their interest. However, we do not disclose our last names and if media as identifiable members of Narcotics Anonymous. And if members of the press approach you, please direct them to the members of the convention planning panel. There we go. Board of directors or the Republic Relations Subcommittee. Smoking is only allowed in the designated smoking areas. If you have any questions on what to find these areas, please. I see a member of the convention planning panel. That is a lot. There's members can be identified by blue committee ribbon on their shirt. Okay, let's circle up and say the serenity, the we version of the serenity prayer. Jeffrey Lowry.
What? Oh, take us out?
Wait.
Don't do it for the turtle. Come up.
I'm so sorry.
Still meeting, can we have a moment of silence for the sick and suffering that didn't make it out? And the ones that will? They're going without a choice.